Today I came to try something different, something local, something that speaks from the heart of the Arabian Gulf countries. A place where the smell of rice and grilled meat blends with the sea breeze and warm sunlight. Where every dish carries a memory from Bahrain to Oman and from Kuwait to Saudi Arabia. The restaurant is called Oah Yamal. It's located on the Corniche in Khobar city, right on the 5th Street above the Indian restaurant Khobar Chandni. The sign outside feels simple, but the meaning is deeper. Oah Yamal serves food inspired by the Arabian Gulf countries. Dishes like Kabsa, Mashkhool, Jareesh, Balaleet, and more. The menu is full of heritage. The spices are rich and the flavors are deep. I came hungry, curious, and excited to dive into something meaningful. In this episode, I will take you dish by dish, from appetizers like sambusa and old-style chicken macaroni, to flavorful main dishes such as shrimp mashkhool, meat kabsa, and the red Jareesh. We will also try traditional desserts, fresh juices, and hot mint tea served the old-fashioned way. So stay close, because if you love the taste of Arabian Gulf culture, you will want to experience this meal from start to finish. Let me take you to Oah Yamal, a restaurant where the Arabian Gulf is not only a region, but a memory cooked in every bite. Hi guys, this is Yazan. Today I will take you with me to Oah Yamal, one of the Arabian Gulf restaurants in Khobar city. I will be ordering several dishes from their menu and I will be sharing my honest review. No filters, no fluff. From starters to dessert, we'll be diving into the full experience. So join me today for lunch and let's discover if this place is really worth the hype. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's give it a try, guys. When I entered Oah Yamal, I felt like I had just stepped into a story from the Arabian Gulf. The place was quiet but filled with character. There were bright patterned tiles on the wall, old-style window panels made from carved wood, and decorations that felt like they belonged in a traditional home. Each booth was private, covered with thick curtains so no one could see inside. It gave the feeling of dining peacefully with your own family. The smell in the air was gentle and clean. No strong spices yet, just calm and fresh. Other families were sitting in their booths, all with privacy like mine. The lighting was soft with hanging lamps that looked like lanterns, and the sound of Arabic music played in the background. It was the kind of place that slows you down. I looked around and saw trays, metal teapots, and small Arabian Gulf-style details. Even the tissue boxes and decorations felt like they had a story. It was a mix of tradition and comfort. The waiter greeted me with a warm smile. He offered to help with the menu if anything was unclear. And then I sat down and opened the digital menu on my phone. There was no printed menu, just a QR code, and the layout was simple with pictures and short descriptions. Some items needed more details, but the waiter was happy to explain. It was a peaceful, slow moment before the food arrived. I was excited for what would come next. I opened the menu through a QR code. There was no printed paper, just a clean digital layout on my phone. It looked simple and clear from the first glance. One of the first things I noticed was the language option. You could choose to read the menu in Arabic or English. That made it more comfortable and easy for different customers. Each dish had a picture, a short name, and full details. The price was written clearly beside every item, and the calories were also shown, which helped me understand the meal better. The menu was divided into different sections like appetizers, salads, main dishes, desserts, and drinks. All the food came from the Arabian Gulf countries. Some of the names were familiar to me, but others were completely new. The layout was modern and the design was simple. Even though the recipes were traditional, the menu itself felt fresh and well organized. Some dish names reminded me of home cooking. They gave a feeling of family meals and warm gatherings. It was not the kind of menu that felt commercial or rushed. It had personality and it made me excited to try something new. Balaleet, for example, had a short note below it. It said it was sweet vermicelli flavored with saffron and cardamom. That small touch made the experience feel more thoughtful. A few items still needed more explanation, so I asked the waiter and he kindly explained everything I wanted to know. He even gave suggestions based on what I was interested in. That made the menu feel more alive and personal. The drinks had clear notes too, including the sizes and serving style. Even the mint tea showed the prices for small, medium, and large. This menu was one of the better ones I have seen. It showed prices, calories, and photos for most dishes. And since it was available in both Arabic and English, it was easy for anyone to use. I placed my order feeling sure about my choices. Now it was time to wait and see how the food would taste. The first dish that came to my table was the meat samosa. There were 4 pieces arranged neatly on a round white plate. Each one was golden and firm with sharp folded edges. The service had a soft shine from the oil, but nothing looked greasy. They were placed over thin strips of red cabbage and carrots. A small slice of lemon sat quietly at the back of the plate. There were no labels or signs and the presentation was simple. Each samosa looked exactly the same, so I had to rely on guessing. I looked closely at the color and the texture of the shell. Then I picked one up and took my first bite. The crust cracked gently under my teeth. It was thin, crisp, and not oily at all. Inside, the filling was soft and warm. There was only ground meat and finely chopped onion. There were no herbs and no extra ingredients, but the basics were done right. The onion gave it a mild sweetness and the meat was juicy and well seasoned. The filling was smooth and stayed together without falling apart. It was rich, but it did not feel too heavy. This portion of meat samosa comes in at around 620 calories. It's something to consider, especially with the fried dough and beef inside. It was satisfying, but also quite filling by the end. I kept eating slowly to enjoy the texture and balance. The shell held its shape and stayed crisp until the last bite. A mint yogurt or tahini sauce on the side would have added freshness. Still, I was happy with what I had. It was warm, simple, and full of care. It did not need any extra spices or twists to leave a good impression. Out of everything I tried, this was one of the most satisfying bites. And if I come back again, I would definitely order it once more. The second plate on my table was the cheese samosa. It looked almost the same as the meat version, golden and folded with sharp edges. Each piece was shaped like a triangle and had a firm, clean seal. They were placed on the same bed of shredded cabbage and carrot. There was no garnish to show which filling was inside. No leaf, no sauce, no hint of herb, just a slice of lemon sitting quietly at the edge. I looked closely, but the shell gave no clues. Even the smell was soft and did not reveal much, so I picked one up and took a bite. The crust was crisp and thin, and it gave a gentle crunch. Inside, the cheese was creamy but mild. There was no salty bite, no stretch, and no herbs in the mix. It tasted smooth but also quiet with no bold flavor. I was expecting something stronger, maybe feta cheese or a blend with parsley or mint. But there was nothing added to lift the flavor. Even a bit of black pepper or cumin could have made a difference. The shell was fried perfectly and not oily, so the texture was still enjoyable. Each serving of these cheese samosas holds about 520 calories. That's something to keep in mind, especially with the fried pastry and soft cheese. The portion looked small, but it was heavier than it seemed. I finished one piece and took a pause before reaching for another. It tasted clean and safe, but not exciting. There was nothing wrong with it, but it also did not stand out. I would not order it again unless they changed the filling or added something fresh. This cheese samosa looked perfect on the outside, but the inside felt unfinished and a little too gentle. It was a calm dish, maybe too calm for the start of a meal. It was made with care, but for me it did not leave a mark. The meat samosa had more flavor, more identity, and more satisfaction. This dish is called Macarona Taybeen in the Arabian Gulf. It means the old-style elbow pasta that families used to make. The pasta comes in a wide round plate that feels like home. The sauce is rich and red with bits of tomato shining in the light. I could see chunks of chicken mixed with soft onions and peppers. There were small slices of potato around the edge of the pasta. Everything looked soft and cooked together for a long time. It smelled like garlic, tomato, and something deep and earthy. The colors were warm and bright and reminded me of slow cooking. It felt like a family meal made with care. I picked up my fork and took the first bite. The pasta was soft and full of sauce from top to bottom. The chicken was tender and easy to chew. The tomato sauce had a slow, deep flavor and tasted a little sweet. There was no spicy heat and no strong herbs, just a calm taste. Everything blended together like it was cooked for a long time. It was not dry and the pasta was fully coated. The dish felt honest and warm, like something cooked in a home kitchen. I kept eating slowly and enjoying each bite. The chicken added comfort and the pasta carried the sauce well. It tasted like something made by a grandmother for a quiet afternoon. I would have liked a little parsley or lemon to freshen it up, but even without that it felt rich and satisfying. Macarona Taybeen is a dish that does not try too hard. It just gives you something classic and comforting. And for a quiet lunch or a simple dinner, this was a perfect choice. The portion was fair and the calories were written on the menu, which is 550 calories for this dish. It left me feeling full and warm inside, and I would be happy to eat it again on another quiet day. This is a small bowl of cucumber yogurt salad. The top was creamy white and smooth with dry mint sprinkled in the center. The texture looked rich but not too heavy. There was no lemon, no olive oil, and no mayonnaise in this dish. Just a plain yogurt mixed with chopped cucumber, dry mint, salt, and a little garlic. The smell was fresh with a soft touch of mint and yogurt. I picked up the spoon and took a small bite to taste it. It was cool and creamy with soft pieces of cucumber in every bite. The dry mint gave a light flavor and the garlic added a soft background taste. This kind of salad goes really well with rice dishes or grilled meat. It balanced the strong flavors I had in the main meal. The portion was enough for one person and the bowl felt full and clean. It has around 145 calories and it tasted light, simple, and refreshing. This dish is called Prawns Mashkhool. It's one of the famous seafood dishes in the Arabian Gulf countries. The name comes from the word mashkhool in Arabic language, which means scattered. The rice is cooked with spices and the prawns are laid on top. It came in a round plate with no tray. The prawns were golden with a nice glaze on them. The rice was long grain and had fried onions mixed through. There were small green peppers cooked into the rice. Next to the plate there were 3 sauces: dagoos, green sauce, and ma'bouch. There was also cucumber yogurt salad on the side. I started with the cucumber yogurt salad. It was cold, smooth, and refreshing. Then I tried the dagoos sauce. It was light and tomato-based with a mild flavor. I moved on to the green sauce. This one had a fresh, herby taste and gave a nice lift to the rice. Finally, I tasted the ma'bouch sauce, and it was the strongest. It was spicy, deep, and bold. I mixed all the sauces with the rice and prawns. The rice soaked up all the flavors and turned more juicy and rich. The prawns were soft and easy to eat. They had a sweet taste and were not chewy at all. Each bite gave me spice, freshness, and comfort. The fried onions added a little crunch to the meal. The portion was fair and good for one hungry person. It felt like a complete meal with the salad and sauces on the side. I enjoyed how balanced the spices were. Nothing was too hot or too strong. It was warm, flavorful, and satisfying in a balanced way. The cucumber yogurt helped to cool the heat of the ma'boot sauce. This dish made me feel close to the Arabian Gulf tradition. This meal has 526 calories and brings together spiced rice, tender prawns, and deep Gulf flavors in every bite. It was a perfect match of seafood, rice, and bold sauces. And I would gladly eat this again with the same mix of sauces and salad. This dish is called Meat Kabsa. It's one of the most famous rice dishes in the Arabian Gulf countries. The plate looked rich and full, made to be shared with family. Long rice grains were covered with soft meat and slices of fried onion. On the side there were small bowls of different sauces and salad. The smell was warm and strong, full of spices like cardamom and cinnamon. It reminded me of meals served at weddings and big family gatherings. The meat was sitting right on top, slow cooked and tender. Everything looked heavy and filling, but still welcoming. I took a deep breath and got ready to enjoy every bite. I picked up my spoon and took a piece of rice with meat. The flavor was bold and rich, and the rice was cooked perfectly. I started with the dagoos sauce, which is a red tomato sauce. It was spicy, but in a good way, and it gave the rice a strong kick. Next, I tried the green sauce made with lemon, mint, and coriander. This one was bright and fresh, and it made the rice taste lighter. Then I added the cucumber yogurt salad. It was cold and creamy, and it helped cool down the spice. At the end, I added a small spoon of ma'boot sauce, which is a strong red chili paste. It was very spicy, but it had deep flavor that matched the meat really well. I kept mixing all the sauces and salad with the rice and meat. Each bite tasted a little different depending on the mix. Sometimes it was spicy, sometimes creamy, sometimes fresh. The meat was soft and easy to cut, and it melted in my mouth. The rice soaked up all the flavors and stayed fluffy at the same time. This dish felt like a full journey. It was hot, cold, smooth, and strong. It made me eat slowly just to enjoy each bite with care. I liked how every side gave something different to the plate, and I would happily eat it again in the same way. One spoon with meat, one sauce at a time, all together with joy. This kabsa had everything I hoped for. It was heavy, traditional, and cooked with love. And with 2,000 calories, it's made to feed more than just your hunger. It feeds your memory and your mood. It was truly the heart of the meal. This dish is called chicken Jareesh. It's one of the most traditional plates in the Arabian Gulf region. This version was made the Kuwaiti way, with small wheat grains cooked in broth. The plate was deep and wide, filled with creamy orange Jareesh and shredded chicken on top. There were slices of fried onion laid across the surface like decoration. The smell was strong but gentle, a mix of grains, butter, and cooked chicken. It reminded me of cozy home food made with care. The color was soft and warm like the dish itself. There was no sharp spice or heavy oil. Everything looked simple, rich, and filling. I picked up my spoon and took a bite. The grains were soft but still had a little texture. The taste was calm and warm with just enough salt and flavor. The chicken was shredded into small pieces and mixed well into the dish. It added protein to the meal and made every spoon more satisfying. I could feel the butter and broth coming together in each bite. It was smooth but not too heavy, and the flavor lasted on the tongue. The fried onions gave a crispy bite and a little sweetness. Each spoon was like eating something from a family kitchen. It was not trying to impress. It was just good, honest food. I kept eating slowly to enjoy it more. This dish did not need anything else on the side. No sauce, no salad. Just the Jareesh by itself was enough. The mix of grains and chicken made it feel balanced and full. It filled my stomach but also gave me a warm feeling inside. I think dishes like this remind people of home. It doesn't need to be fancy. It just needs to be real. And this was real food with heart. 569 calories of soft grains, tender chicken, and quiet comfort. This was not just a dish. It was a memory on a spoon. I ordered Balaleet. This is a traditional sweet and savory dish from the Arabian Gulf region. It's usually made with fine vermicelli noodles cooked in butter and sugar, then flavored with cardamom, saffron, and rose water. Normally it comes with a thin omelette on top, but I asked for it without the eggs this time. So what I got was a pure version of the sweet noodles, just the way I enjoy it. The portion was generous, placed in a neat plate. The color was golden with a little shine from the butter. It smelled rich and warm with hints of spice and sweetness. This dish has around 700 calories. I picked up my spoon and took my first bite. The noodles were soft and buttery. They had a nice sweetness, but not too much. The flavor of cardamom was light, but it gave the dish a nice smell. The saffron added richness and color. Every bite had a smooth texture, with the noodles gliding gently. It felt like something made with care. No crunch, no surprises. Just a soft, comforting bite each time. The balance of sweet and spice was well done. It tasted like a dessert, but it also had the depth of a breakfast dish. Even without the eggs, it still felt complete. I enjoyed the way the butter held everything together. The warmth of the saffron and cardamom stayed with me. This was a dish that speaks to tradition. It's light but filling, sweet but never heavy. And I would order it again just the same way. A simple, comforting taste from the Arabian Gulf region that feels like home. The second dessert I tried was Luqaimat. This is one of the most famous sweets in the Arabian Gulf countries. It's made of small round dough balls that are deep fried until golden. A good Luqaimat should be light, crispy on the outside, and soft inside, but not too doughy. These ones looked nice at first, covered with sweet date molasses. They were also topped with sesame seeds and black seeds, also known as habbat al-baraka in Arabic language. The smell was warm and sweet, with that rich molasses aroma rising with the steam. But when I ate the first one, I noticed the texture was not right. They were too doughy inside, with not enough crunch on the outside. A great Luqaimat has a thin shell and a soft but airy center, and this one was too thick in the middle. The date syrup and toppings give it a nice flavor boost, but the base needs some work to get the texture right. I think it could be much better with a lighter hand on the dough. Still, I appreciated the effort and the sweet finish it offered. Luqaimat always has a place on the Arabian Gulf table, especially with tea. And this one had 279 calories, which is not too much for a dessert. It just needs a bit more crisp and less dough to really shine. The glass was cold and shining with little drops of water. Inside, bubbles were floating up slowly like tiny stars. Next to it was a big clear jar filled with fresh fruits. I saw lemon slices, apple pieces, orange wedges, and some mint leaves. This is the famous Saudi fruit cocktail. It was created right here in Saudi Arabia. Now it is loved across the Arabian Gulf region. It's made with apple juice and fizzy soda water. They mix it with slices of orange, lemon, and sometimes strawberries. Fresh mint gives it a cool smell. Some people add lemon juice to give it a light sour kick. The drink looked golden and full of life. I poured it gently into the glass and saw the bubbles rise fast. It made a soft sound that felt refreshing before even tasting. I took a slow sip and felt the chill in every part of me. The apple taste came first, then the orange, and the mint came at the end. It was sweet, fruity, and easy to drink. Not too heavy, not too sharp, just smooth and clean. I used the spoon to eat a slice of lemon from the bottom. It was soft and juicy from soaking in the mix. This is not just a juice, it's part of Saudi culture and always on the table with meals. It's cold, fresh, and full of fruit flavors. One glass has around 207 calories, and I would be happy to drink it again anytime. This glass came cold and fresh, bright green and glowing like spring leaves. The top had a fluffy frozen foam with crushed ice, and the mint was blended right into the juice. I could smell the sharp lemon before the first sip. The scent was cool and citrusy like a fresh breeze. When I stirred the top, the green color stayed strong. It looked thick, but the texture was smooth and light. Every part of the drink felt fresh and homemade. The balance between mint and lemon was perfect. It tasted a little sweet, a little sour, and very cold. Each sip felt clean and crisp like a breeze in the Gulf. It cooled my throat and gave a small energy kick. The mint made it feel traditional and healthy. The sugar was just enough, not too much at all. I felt like I was tasting something real and natural. It was made in the Arabian Gulf way, simple and honest. This drink is popular in Saudi Arabia and around the Arabian Gulf region, and it was created by locals who love freshness. The calories are 214, so it feels light but still satisfying. I think it's one of the best drinks for hot days. It makes you feel awake, fresh, and ready to eat more, and I would order it again without thinking twice. I ordered a small pot of mint tea. It came with the fresh mint leaves, 2 glass cups, and sugar on the side. The tray looked traditional and colorful. Everything was served nicely and gave a good first impression. But when I opened the lid and looked inside, I noticed something missing. The tea color was very light, not dark as I expected. It had barely any smell, and the mint was just placed on the side. I poured the tea into my cup and took a sip. There was hardly any flavor at all. It tasted more like hot water than actual tea. The mint leaves were not enough to give it a fresh taste. Even the tea bag inside seemed weak and underused. It felt like the tea was rushed or not brewed long enough. I was hoping for something richer and more balanced. A good mint tea should be warm, fragrant, and soothing. This one was watery and flat. I added sugar to help bring out some flavor, but even then, it still lacked the strong tea taste I expected. The serving style was charming, but the taste needs improvement. This small cup of tea had around 15 calories. I appreciated the presentation, but the flavor did not match the look. I would love to try this tea again if they used stronger leaves or another brand of tea. Mint tea should comfort the soul. This one felt more like a missed chance. The price of meat samosa is 32 Saudi Riyal. The price of cheese samosa is 25 Saudi Riyal. The price of Macarona Taybeen is 28 Saudi Riyal. The price of cucumber yogurt salad is 16 Saudi Riyal. The price of Prawns Mashkhool is 85 Saudi Riyal. The price of Meat Kabsa is 92 Saudi Riyal. The price of chicken Jareesh is 55 Saudi Riyal. The price of Balaleet is 25 Saudi Riyal. The price of Luqaimat is 25 Saudi Riyal. The price of Saudi cocktails is 42 Saudi Riyal. The price of lemon mint is 26 Saudi Riyal. The price of tea with mint is 10 Saudi Riyal. The total plus the value added tax, which is 15%, is 465 Saudi Riyal. Now it's time to share my final rating for this experience. Let me begin with the food. The flavors were simple but full of soul. The meat samosa had a soft and juicy filling with gentle spices. The cheese samosa was creamy, but I wished it had more contrast. The prawns mashkhool came in a deep plate, not a tray, and the rice was fluffy. I liked how the cucumber yogurt helped to balance the spice. The sauces added heat and flavor, especially the green one and the ma'bood sauce. The chicken Jareesh was creamy and warm, but it needed just a little more salt. The Macarona Taybeen was soft pasta in red sauce with chicken. It was a real comfort dish that reminded me of home. The Balaleet was sweet and light, served in a neat portion with a gentle saffron taste. But the Luqaimat were too doughy inside and missed that classic crunch. The tea looked nice, but the flavor was watery and weak. Still, the meal felt honest and thoughtful, like food cooked from tradition. So my final rating for the food is 4.5 out of 5. Now let me talk about the service. The waiter was kind and polite from the moment I arrived. He helped me to understand the names and the ingredients of the dishes. He served each course in the right order. He explained how to enjoy the sauces with the prawns and rice. He brought the tea at the very end, just when I needed something warm. He answered all my questions in a polite way and made the visit smooth. So my rating for the service is 4.7 out of 5. Now let me talk about the atmosphere. The seating was private and peaceful with a curtain on each booth. I sat next to the window where the light felt soft and the room was quiet. The decoration was clean and simple with details from the Arabian Gulf heritage. Families were eating nearby and the mood felt respectful and relaxed. So my rating for the atmosphere is 4.6 out of 5. The parking was free and available right outside on the main street. And there was a wheelchair ramp placed at the entrance for easy access. That made the restaurant welcoming to everyone. And that brings us to the end of this warm Arabian Gulf dining story. So this was my experience today at Oah Yamal restaurant. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, drop a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. And just remember, each bite tells a story. See you in the next one. Bye.